Alrighty, hey guys, welcome back to another video, and today we will discuss a Reddit post that has gotten a lot of attention, and I thought, why not let me give my kind of opinion of it, maybe some dev, stuff that I've seen the devs say, and, just add to the conversation. But like always, this will be linked down below, and let's get right to it. So it's called Bannerlord Kinda Lacks Soul. Okay. So he starts off saying, I think it lacks flavor. In Warband, I remember actually liking some lords and hating others. They had their little personalities. In Bannerlord, they all feel the same except for the rulers. I remember that in Warband, working on your reputation was more, I really can't say that word, ambiguous. I think that's how you say it. It wasn't as simple as grinding your clan rep level. They made it feel more realistic and fun. I don't like how in Bannerlord, in theory, every kingdom has its own lore, history, and customs, but in practice, they all work like effective monarchies. I'd make sense. It makes sense to make at least Southern Empire and Vlandia hereditary. What does that word mean? I'm pretty sure I know what it means, but I'm not. Okay, let's just keep reading. The current state of things feels off. In Warband, at least, we were told that all kingdoms are roughly the same, even the Rodoks that try to do things differently eventually just became your standard feudal kingdom. Lore was consistent with the mechanics, and Bannerlord it isn't. It's just a couple of things that I spotted that bother me. Share your thoughts with me. Okay, so do I agree with the statement that it lacks soul? Yes, I think it does. Can it improve? Yes, I think there's ways to make a person feel like the characters have more than just a face and an action, or a face and like a quest to do with them, or a face and like if I want to join as a vassal or mercenary, I go to the ruler and stuff like that. It all comes down to more in-depth dialogue and what's it called, not having the same dialogue with everybody, and maybe changing how they look. If they don't like you, they don't really want to talk to you, or they're gonna deny whatever that you try to like propose to them and stuff like that. You need some back and forth. Right now, it feels like the player is always the one to initiate everything, which he really is. And when you make a game that is kind of like that, where the player initiates everything, it feels in a way like how can I explain it? It's like it's lonely. It's like it says, it lacks soul. It's lonely because a lord's not going to run up to you unless he's your enemy to attack you. You know what I mean? A friendly lord is never going to run up to you, and that's a problem. I think friendly lords should run up to you. It would be cool if I went to a tavern and one of the wanderers actually walked up to me and said, "Hey, do you need somebody to recruit?" If they walked up to me and tried to sell themselves to me in terms of, "Hey, I want to become your companion," that would be cool. A thing Warband had was obviously the unique companions. Are they coming to Bannerlord? No, they're not, unfortunately. It's a different system. Is it better? Is it worse? That's up to the player. Obviously, I would like for companions to be more dynamic, and have like this little storyline and quest. I feel like they should, in a way, implement some little quests and stuff that companions can do randomly between all the different companion types that they do have. I think that would be cool. They are adding more lines to their speech to kind of bring more companions into the mix, but at the same time, like I said, you need that back and forth, right? Regardless of what it is. Like, for example, later on when you have your own kingdom, it would be great if the AI proposed peace when they were against you, But for right now, only the player can do it. It's nice to see that sometimes your clan members, they try to propose hey, can we vote for this law? Could we do this? Could we do that? That's nice. It makes you feel good. It makes you feel like you're not the only one just making decisions. Like, stuff happens without you being there, which is good. Another thing that would make the game feel a lot more lively, if lords ran up to me and said, "Hey, can I join your kingdom? Your kingdom is growing." If they interacted with how the world is building, that way it would make it more alive, right? More, I guess, soulful, as you would say, in terms of this thread. I'm not like this, by the way, but yeah. If we had this back and forth where the AI actually interacted with us without having to interact with them. Obviously, enemies do that, but that's just for one reason, to attack you, right? It would be cool if your allies, the people who you're neutral with, if they did that. I think that would be very, very good. I think if you're running through a town, it would be cool if, like, let's say a bandit runs up to you and says, "Hey, my boss from in the town square has a quest for you. He needs someone to get some of this. Can you do it?" It would be cool if they just interact without you having to do it, right? Make you feel like you're part of this world and that you stepped in somewhere and, or you were traveling somewhere and you got stopped, as you do in real life. You get stopped sometimes from, what I mean? Whatever you do. And yeah, I think that's the one thing that it's missing. And I feel like once that is achieved, and again, once better dialogue is achieved, where not every lore just is the same thing, like, "Hey, how you doing?" in a different variation, and then you can either choose to barter or attack them, right? It would be very cool if you can, maybe get into a conversation with them, be like, "Hey, how's your kingdom going?" And based off like how their kingdom is actually going, they have set stuff to say, and stuff like that. It would be very cool if there was more dialogue options, maybe some backstory or something like that. Like, what if like, depending on how much reputation you have with a different lord, unlocks different things that he'll tell you. Like, if you have 100 reputation plus with the lord, he'll tell you some deep stuff. He might tell you who he really hates. He might tell you like what his plans are for the future. You know what I mean? Like, oh, he wants to become the ruler of this, or he really hates this guy. He kind of wants to, take him out. It would be very cool if, you felt that progression the same way as he's talking about right over here, where right now you're just building your clan rap, but in Warband it was a much different system. It was more, it made you feel like you're part of that world. It was more, in a way, I guess, realistic, but who knows how it was back then. But yeah, I feel like that is the two things: more dialogue, and let the AI come to us for stuff as well. Like I said, there is some of that whenever like voting happens, whenever you have a kingdom, but other than that, it doesn't happen much, and I wish it did. Let's see what other players have to say. They should bring back titles so you aren't just calling rulers by their first name. Okay, that's minor, but cool. The comparisons too, I remember Lazulit's intensity, Rolf's insane. Okay, he's talking about all the rulers, right? Oh wait, no, these are companions, I think. Agreed. At the moment, anyway, it's taking a long time, but it looks like the groundwork is there to eventually expand that scale into lore, story, and characters. It's there. We'll see just what they do with it. Judging by the current companion mechanic, the complete lack of dialogue for most of the character and content of the patch at the moment, I'm guessing Tailwoods are trying to finish the core of the game first. Unfortunately, they're not going to add the same type of companions. Maybe, look, maybe they'll backtrack and actually do it. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. You can always backtrack and then actually, try it again. But what they've said previously, maybe I think 2 months ago around there, is that they're going a different route. Whether that route's going to be good, we're going to see when it's all done and said. You know what I mean? Then we'll see. But I agree, a lot of what made Warband so great is missing at the moment. I do agree. A lot of it is missing. Well, not a lot, but some good, valuable points that really made people feel like they were really in that world is missing, I think. Yes. I think meetings or like feasts, those need to come back. The ability to just walk into an area and there's like all these lords and ladies, I think was a very cool feature. I think it was very cool. It's very much needed. Another thing that people have stated a long time ago is, if you're the sorry about that. My phone just literally went crazy. But for example, if you own a castle or if you own a settlement, you can have the option to go to your keep, sit on the throne, and then you can press some type of button or hold some type of button to pretty much open the doors to the keep, and then peasants will come by and be like, "Hey, we need more of this, we need more of that, this and that," and they'll just tell you stuff. That would be cool. That sounds like a good idea, to be honest with you. What else? There's a good amount. Can't think it off the head right now, but there's been some very good suggestions. I think that should be thought about pretty much. Hard not to think the game is bland when the devs left in line stating insert generic backstory here. Okay, I guess. I kind of agree that there's definitely room to expand, but I don't think it's super awful currently. I don't think it's super awful anyways. No, I don't think that. Like, I have hundreds and hundreds of hours in this game, you know what I mean? A lot of people are in the same boat, you know? Um, I don't think the game is awful. I don't think it's even close to awful. I think it's a great game. I just think that you can make it into a fantastic game by adding those extra things, you know what I mean? But yeah, I have a couple hundred hours in this game. That only happens when you know what I mean, when I like the game. There's a lot of games. I think like 200 games in my Steam library, and maybe out of all those, I want to think. Out of all those games, maybe 15. No, not 15 even. Maybe 10. Not even 10, maybe like 9 or 10 of them have above 100 hours played. And I think in Bannerlord, I'm close to like, what, 600? Something around there. So yeah, it's definitely not a bad game. I had some kind of thoughts while playing Bannerlord on release, but now I think it's just a case of me being much younger and having a vivid imagination. I still remember my own lore around the first thief in original game battles. Yeah, that's also a thing a lot of people face is like, if they played Warband and, they were a little bit younger and they made up all these like things that happen. That's something that happens if you ever get the chance to, like, let's say you used to play like PS1 games, you know what I'm saying, or whatever games, right? Whenever you see this, try to play those games again. And it's a weird thing where it's like it might be in your memory as like this very expansive game, very this and that, like the best game ever, and then you play it again and you're just like, wow. Now that you're older, now that you have more thought process, you're kind of like, it's cool, but you know what I mean, it's not everything that I was. And that's not saying that that's Warband. Warband's a really good game as well, but try it out for real. Stop playing because it's repetitive. Maybe I should go back. Yeah, there's some repetitive elements, definitely. But alright, that is going to do it for me. Like I said before, more dialogue and just the ability for AI to actually, in a way, come together, kind of like feasts, and also come to you and make decisions on their own. I think that'd be very cool. But yeah, otherwise, let me know what you guys think. How would it, how can Bannerlord get more, I guess, soulful, right? Or feel more alive, right? But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed. Ask me any questions and concerns, and like always, stay safe.